Good morning, beautiful people. Here we are. It's really early. I would say you can see behind me maybe the first glimpse of a sunny day. Despite the fact that it's summer officially, mornings can be pretty chilly around here. So that's the reason for the outfit. I think that in about half an hour, 45 minutes, I will not need any of this. But since I usually walk between 6 and 7, it's still a good time to protect your throat. Though there is no wind today, so it sounds like a glorious morning. And this little video, I would like to share with you a story. I'm trying very hard to pass it to the new book. It's a story about a mentor, actually. I would say one of the persons that I consider that gave me really important and useful advices in key moments of my life. And I keep it until today in a very special place. I'm talking about a person that I work with. Actually, it was my boss, the boss of the bosses. He had a lot of responsibility inside the organization, and there was 3 moments and 3 key advices that I keep in my heart and quite often in my head as well, especially when it comes to decision making. And the first advice was really striking, because it was the first day we met, and actually this was a job interview. It was the last stage of a position I was applying. And after he explained me the challenge that I had in my hands, waiting for me, he reinforced a very interesting idea. He said, "Look, João, this is not gonna be easy, but if you are willing to do it, you can learn so much that most likely you will not be able to learn in few combined assignments in your life, because this is really a difficult one, but at the same time an incredible opportunity. And if you are willing to do it, I'm gonna be here to help you. And you probably gonna look back many years from now and understand what were you made of to make this thing work." And this made me think, because obviously when you hear someone that is supposed to help you, telling you that it's gonna be difficult, but telling you that it's gonna be there for you, it gives you courage from one side and creates a tremendous motivation. And sometimes I think that in life we need that type of motivation, or let's say we need that type of challenge to trigger our truly honest motivation. And then that's history. You just have to do. And the second advice was also very interesting. About 6 months, maybe 1 year later, he was absolutely right. So the challenge was really big. And there was a lot of things that I was definitely not expecting to happen, but they did happen. And and we were having a meeting, so we actually had to travel to the market I was working, which was definitely far away from probably where he was used to spend the weeks and the days. It was very far from Europe, and not really in the spotlight, but at that moment in time was really in the radar of these big guys. And it's very interesting because we were having a meeting and he said, look, João, be specially attentive to the no's you say, because the yeses, they will probably make you feel comfortable and the others around you, but they don't define you. But if you start with the no's that you don't negotiate, the no's that actually draw the lines where you want to be and how you want to operate, those will define you, and they will define you in a very positive way, every no that you say, because they will let you know for yourself and for others exactly what are you willing not to do, meaning it becomes more clear what you will do. And that advice was incredibly important and revealed to be repeatedly one of the strongest tools in my life to make decisions. Define your no's, and then you will see probably a little bit easier the yeses that you want to say. And finally, there was a last piece of advice, maybe 3-4 years after that, because professionally then we never worked again. Unfortunately, it's really this kind of people that you understand that if you stay nearby, you're always learning. Probably that's really the role of a mentor, I think, in our lives. And this piece of advice was given to me in a very challenging, I would say, moment of my life, because and in that moment I really needed help. My mother had passed away very recently. I have to say that I probably lost a lot of interest and motivation to the things I was doing at the moment, and I was really seeking for advice and support. And this incredible mentor, hey, I have a little friend with me here. This incredible mentor told me a story from his life. So something that I learned, I mean, if you want to give a good advice, tell a story. Don't really give an advice, because by telling a story, you're really putting us thinking immediately in the right track. And he was referring to a friend, I believe, a person with even more responsibility than him. So if my mentor was already in a gigantic organization, the one he was referring was in a gigantic multiplied by some organization. And he even started by telling me, well, I think he was too good to go forward in this company, because I think he was already maybe vice president, the person he was telling me about. He said he was just too good to become a president. And this man had a very simple principle in life. He said, look, don't worry too much, but make sure that you are aware of this. Every time you have a birthday, think that you only have 1 year ahead of you. That's all you got. You got 1 year to live, to experience, to do things, to say things, to write things. And you use that year, so all your planning takes that into consideration. That you have 12 months and those amount of days to do what you want. And based on that, you orient and you order your life. And you will see what will happen. And after 1 year, if you're still alive, which is great news, you can, stop, analyze, and think about it. that life just gave you an incredible present, one more year, and that's all you got. And it's very interesting because as far as I understood, this man was doing this already for many years, so receiving a new present every year, to repeat, to reinforce, but always with this perspective: what we have is limited. Be aware of that, and then try to make the best of it. No drama, but with conscious that you can do a lot of things in a certain amount of time. Never forgot about that, because it's really something that comes with me every day, quite often. Yeah, sometimes in some, I don't know, workshop, interview, whatever, a class, people like to ask me what are the biggest motivation, or what makes me, get out of bed in the morning. And my answer is pretty stable, because is that only answer. I think obviously we can have an amount of reasons to do it, and to do it properly, but there is one that stands from others, and it's the notion of death in my life. And this is probably my biggest motivator, because I know that time is limited, and having that in mind, I usually don't stay very long doing things that I believed I shouldn't be doing. So I guess when I look back, maybe that's one of the reasons why I wake up so early and try to enjoy the day in the first hours, the first lights, and I try to do that throughout the whole year. So 3 pieces of advices from a very special mentor, and this idea that when you have someone that is willing to walk by your side, not necessarily all the time, but at the right time, and maybe tell you the stories you need to hear, the reality you need to hear, and maybe a direct advice, that can have a huge impact, especially if we listen. So that's it for today, this morning, and I wish you a wonderful week. Keep walking with me, and if you can, hey, open the door and go out for a walk.